Alright, what it do, everybody? It's your boy LG from Where There's Smoke. Today we got a special guest in the building. We got my younger brother Duncan Lemons. Wanted to come in and get some of his perspective on everything with all the election, with the election coming up in less than a week, and then just get some of his perspective overall as kind of a young gun, and just kind of get his personality on the pod. So,
hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Duncan Lemons. Like you said, I'm Logan's younger brother. Just gonna kind of see how I go on the pod. Kind of first time doing this, so we're gonna react to some stuff. We're gonna talk about Trump. We're gonna talk about Kamala, and just we're gonna get things rolling.
So I had a first question that kind of started off. This is kind of me. I like to dig deeper and get some of the stuff like this. Kind of, just let me get the question out there, and then I'll kind of get around it more. But what was it like for you growing up? Because you were born in 2003, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was it like for you, pretty much as old as he could remember, that you always had the internet? Like,
right.
So what was that
Yeah.
like for you growing up with the internet? Like,
it was really weird because it's like you're born and like the internet's always there, so it's like you don't really know a time without people who don't use the internet. So it's like everybody relies off of the internet. So it's like it's used in everyday life to life, and it's like as the internet advanced too, like I would say more like in high school, the internet was like the only way that they would teach us. Like they would rely off of the internet, you know what I mean? Instead of using it as a tool, it's more like they're abusing it so that they don't have to do their jobs. I don't know it, but I will feel like, and nowadays the internet's also a big way that people make money, and I feel like young people my age are making a lot of money now, which is crazy. And the older generation, it's crazy that because they don't even know that, but it's because we grew up with the internet, so we're almost more familiar with it. So we, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those situations, but I don't know. I think eventually it's going to get so advanced that it can't handle itself. You know, like now that we have AI and we have, I don't know, it's too much.
yeah. Do you think, like, when you were younger, what is the youngest memory you have on the internet? And like when you were super young, what do you remember? Like, what would you do on the internet? What would you do? Like, what would you get on there and do? Like, I know you would watch like shark videos and stuff like that, but what is some of the stuff you remember, like just searching early on like YouTube videos that you would watch, and like what was the early stuff? Because I just feel like when I was young, we didn't like learn off the internet that young. So I feel like at a young age, you were able to just like search up anything you wanted or any questions you had about life. You could just like Google.
Yeah. I feel like it's really crazy because like, you know, whenever you grow up, the internet's there, and sometimes, you know, especially you being a boy, you don't have anybody putting restrictions on you.
Yeah.
So it's like you can really look up anything that you want. You know, you can learn about anything you want. You know, you have YouTube, you can watch sports, and you know, you can watch, you know, how to play sports, how to play video games, how to do this, how to do that, how to take things apart, how to put things back together. And really the internet back in those days, I feel like it had less limitations than it does now. Like I feel like back in the day, like there wasn't as much censored stuff as there is now. Like you could see a lot of like deep videos talking about like deep stuff like politics or what have you. And I feel like now, they just really, they control what is put online, if that makes sense, a lot more. So like back then, like, you know, I would look up, you know, all kinds of stuff, like, you know, like animal videos, like shark videos, like the ocean, and like people like deep sea diving, and then, you know, like sports videos, like viral basketball shots, like viral football videos, like even from back in the day that people hadn't seen, or maybe they only saw them like live.
Yeah.
You know, you can like re-pull them up, and you know, like the assassination of JFK, that was on YouTube, and like there's just like so much, and so it's crazy. I looked into a lot of that stuff growing up for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess it's stuff that like when the internet really hit and I was still young, I would like look at some of that stuff too, but some of it I was like, I guess it was like retroactive for me, whereas you were just at a young age, you could just do it sooner. So it's kind of,
yeah, I will say, and too with the internet, like it made it so easy to basically cheat through high school. So it's like if the material that they were teaching was actually useful to us and they wanted us to learn it, even if that was the case, we still weren't learning it because we were using the internet just to cheat and just learn how to cheat our way through to get through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like back then y'all didn't have the internet and y'all either had to copy someone, learn it, get help from parents.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I feel like now it's so online that, you know, no one's really learning. They're just learning how to navigate the system to where they can pass.
Yeah. I see that. It's interesting. It was kind of like that towards the end, but I feel like there wasn't as much online as there is now. But yeah, it was similar. Okay. Let's see. What were some of your favorite movies growing up?
Would you say, like, let's see, I would probably say John Wayne definitely had a big influence on me. Lonesome Dove. I grew up watching. We all grew up watching a lot of westerns, so those are always good. Like the Cowboys. And then if you go like outside of westerns, like The Dark Knight, that was probably one of my big movies. Really good movie, like kind of like a crime movie, very realistic. Jaws, I really liked that growing up. Just kind of like a classic kind of movie. Those Tombstone. I was really into the western movies, so kind of a lot of different. Star Wars really had a big impact on my life as well. Those were very good.
You really liked Batman for a little period.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so The Dark Knight would be your favorite?
I would say The Dark Knight.
And then going off of that also, did you see the Joker movie that came out?
I did not.
It's been several years ago now.
I didn't see it.
And then
I heard about it though.
A sequel came out this year. What is your opinion on, like, I mean, the Joker's always been like a bad guy. Obviously, everyone fucking knows that. But like, what is your opinion on, like, someone who's a pretty big Batman fan as a kid? I mean, you were the westerns for sure. We were into westerns, but then your kind of thing was, we all love the westerns, but then your own thing was like the Batman. You really love Batman. Yeah, and I did too. I fucked with them too, but you really liked them, especially the newer ones. Were kind of like, I don't know why, I just didn't really.
I feel like as a kid, the reason I like Batman so much, especially like the newer ones, is because he didn't have any superpowers and he was literally like this millionaire dude who was doing whatever he wants and beating the fuck out of people on the streets and bringing his own justice. And it was kind of like this figure that was outside of the law. So he didn't have this ordinary lifestyle and he was able to kind of do whatever he wanted and make his own reality, if that kind of makes sense. I think that's why it kind of played such a big impact. I will say, I think it's a little weird nowadays that they're making the movie more about the villain than about the hero. I will say that's kind of maybe a narrative, if you will, that's being pushed. I feel like that's a little strange.
Yeah,
but
the Joker. Yeah. That's pretty much kind of what I was getting at with that too.
I don't think that. I think that's a little weird because I think the newer Joker movie didn't even have Batman in it. It was literally just about the villain. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly.
So that it's like,
How did you, when the Dark Knight movies were, what was the first one called of that trequel?
Batman Begins.
Or the trilogy, rather, trequel.
I think it's Batman Begins, The Dark Knight.
When that movie was going to come out, did you know about it beforehand?
Yeah.
How long beforehand?
Like maybe, a few months.
See, that's one of those things with like the internet. Maybe you would know about movies beforehand but I feel like with the internet, there was more hype with trailers and like coming up.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It was built, and you knew about.
Yeah.
It wasn't like maybe you would know about a new movie or not. It's like you knew about it if it was something you were interested in.
And two, like, and movies were a lot bigger, I feel like, back in the day. Because I don't know why. I feel like now there's so much of a push for like social media, TikTok, and like just easy access. And a lot of these movies that come out too, people are able to watch them online before they even reach the theaters. Another thing I was going to talk about too is, and I know because you're a big movie fan, is COVID has had a weird effect with how people like don't go to the movie theaters, and a lot of the theaters I feel like haven't even opened back up since COVID.
Yeah,
it's kind of the end of like a movie deal, which
it was already over.
Because now pretty much as y'all probably know, everybody watches movies online.
That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. It was already getting weak, and then that just finished it off.
Yeah,
but because movie theaters, I worked in a movie theater like in my high school and early college days, like around 2010 and 11. And basically movie theaters make most of their money off concessions. They make very little off the actual ticket sales. So I think if you combine that with people going out less, being a little bit more picky with where they spend their money, and people are thinking, well, if I can stay home and I already have the Netflix subscription or the Hulu or whatever, so I'm already paying that little bit a month. I'm not going to go pay the ticket price and then double or triple for the snack price.
Right.
They're gonna stay home, and the candy bar's $1, and the popcorn's 30 cents or whatever.
Right.
And then I already have the subscription, so everyone, that
Yeah.
like you said, COVID kind of influenced that. The economy was
Yeah.
already kind of going that way. Movies are not as good as they used to be, so it just a bunch of things.
Yeah.
But I just think it was interesting how back in the day they were able to build a little more like that sweet period in the 2010s where movies were still good and the internet was full on. They were able to get like good hype for movies because of those two things.
Yeah.
So, and that was an interesting time because you were growing up, and
Yeah.
I was still a little bit of an older kid, but you were a younger kid when like.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely probably grew up in the prime years of like when movies were coming out because I was a kid, and it's like kids love that shit, and then they were coming out with like probably the best movies, and like you said, the advertising was really good,
right?
And it's like social media wasn't that good yet, so you could have a little bit of fun, but it's like going to the movies was still a big thing.
And people know if the movie sucked, like they already would know because box office numbers, but like they would hear it online too, and like get fan reception of why they didn't like it.
Exactly.
So it was an interesting time.
Yeah.
And we see that now more. But what was your favorite video game growing up? And it doesn't have to be like on a console. It could be like when I was coming up, we would go to Miniclip, and like there was Shockwave.com, and there was certain like, was there a certain game that you really liked playing, whether it was on a computer or a console, or like what was couple of your favorite games growing up?
I would definitely say a big one for sure is probably GTA 5. That was a big one for sure growing up, just because y'all were always playing it and I was seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Obviously, like all the Call of Duty shooting games were really, really, really big when I was growing up.
You never were as big into the games though, right?
Not as much. Not as much.
Yeah.
No.
What was that game you played on the computer that was like you could have all the different characters and you would go to like all the different worlds and all that? Do you remember that? It was just like a website you would go to and you had like an account on there and it was like pretty big.
Yeah, I do remember that, but I don't remember. I don't remember what it was called. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because
those games were a dime a dozen back in the day. But they're a lot of fun.
I feel like back in the day too, because like since I grew up with the internet, I was always thinking of like websites to go on to like play games, because I would have to go to like
and you would go to school and summer camp, and one kid would have a good website, and everybody would get on that one game.
Yeah.
But
we'd be like hiding websites.
That's kind of my point. That back in the day, there was a lot of games. Gaming on the internet was popular too, where you didn't have to necessarily own your own console or anything. You could go to the website and have a profile, which it's still that way now. But like games like RuneScape and other games that were even less in depth than that, where you would just go to the website.
There were a lot of games that you could play for free too, and it's like you didn't have to pay any money. You could make an account,
and you could play from any computer.
And the games were like really fucking good too. Like you could go to like they might have like 5 different worlds, and it's like and you can like have a gold sword, or then if you beat somebody else, you can have like a diamond sword, or it's like. And these games were like free, and you could save your character. And they don't make those games like that anymore for free, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I can understand why, but it was an interesting time back in there. There was a lot of really quality, good free games. What did you think of social media growing up? Because like when I was coming up, there was no social media, and then at one point, probably when I was about like mid like 15, 16, it kind of came around. So, but like, what was it like for you coming up? And like, even as a child, adults have social media, and you would hear them talking about it. And then, of course, at some age, you found out what it was. And like, what was excuse me, what was it like for you coming up with social media being around? And just what do you think about that? What was that like for you?
I will say, like, growing up was, I feel like our generation, and probably yours too, was one of the weirdest generations growing up, because it's like, I would get on social media as a kid, and you see like all these, like you see celebrities, and you see like regular lifestyles, and you see like, you know, very, very attractive women, and you see, you know, girls that go to your school that are not very attractive, and you just see all this diversity, and I don't know, it was definitely a weird period in time where I don't know, I think we would have been a lot better growing up if we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
Because I think that kids are introduced to social media at such a young age, and it takes a toll on their mind, and I don't think they should be able to access that until they get older.
What do you think about certain kids that, like, if a certain kid is not on it but everyone else is, how does that affect them?
I think it's better if it would be better if nobody was on it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
but in a world where that's not a possibility, like if a certain parent decides to keep their kid off of it, I just wonder how that would affect the kid, because the kid's still going to hear about stuff that goes on there. They're just not going to be on there.
Yeah.
It's probably still better off if they're not on there. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So when you did finally get on social media, probably early on, like which one did you get on, Facebook? Or did you get
I think I got on Snapchat first.
Snapchat? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after that,
probably like Instagram.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's the one for the younger
one.
generation.
Yeah.
I
feel like too, it's real crazy now because now you have like TikTok, and you have like these 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids on TikTok.
Yeah,
and it's like they can literally see whatever their parents aren't guiding it. It's like 5-second videos, and and it gets them addicted because they can just keep swiping and it never ends.
Yeah. So
that's a big thing today.
That's
It's slowly getting worse. It's like it was not as bad when you were growing up, and then it was like getting pretty bad when I was growing up, and now it's just like real bad.
Yeah.
And it's just
for the viewers, I was born in 92 and then he was born in 2003, so about a 10-year difference. Yep. So we talked a little about the westerns and stuff. And then I think that's kind of all the questions I have. If you want to get into like some of the videos. I've been on Caesar Milan lately, the dog whisperer, and we both messed around with animals a lot growing up, and I just feel like there's some relatable stuff in this, so we're going to go over this just a little bit.
That won't happen. Brett would never pick up poop. He would hurl. He doesn't take any responsibility for
He's the pack leader. So
oh my fucking God.
To give the leadership right away, it have to be done from her, because she empowers him. So you're gonna reinforce what she's practicing. Okay. So both of you guys have to be in the same page, same goal. The best thing you can do is just to
Tries to get a sense.
3 hours. A dog can deliver the information in 10 seconds. Who's this? This is Angel. Oh, there you go.
Oh my goodness,
all the dogs that I use from my pack, they're gonna know exactly what to do. They're not gonna ask Tanea, or they're not gonna ask Brett, how can I help you? They're just gonna come in and say, this is what we need to do. There you go. Unsure, see, nervous. We're gonna remove that, right? Take that? No. Hiding is not an option.
Yeah. He doesn't.
Whoa. When I saw Tucker for the first time and how he crunches his body and actually pull himself in and do this, it's almost like I would love to disappear right now.
they're looking at him like he's just a grown man for doing that, right?
Almost like a temperature.
He's all ground, no bite.
You have done this before when you watched TV, okay? So we're gonna. Tucker is just frantic. It sounds vicious. It sounds worse than a king cobra. But he's not gonna bite.
Look at him.
He had many chances to bite me, so we're just gonna wait right here, okay? But this is just a frantic behavior expressed with a lot of growl and a lot of teeth. So it looks really bad, but it's not. Yeah, but that's better. So as you see,
Didn't Cheryl have a dog like that?
There you go. Now it's just the mind. So it's not 30 minutes later, as you see.
It's not.
Right. Now I'm letting it go. That's
right.
It. Why? Because on his own, he's staying on the side, going through this process of calming himself down.
Just take your time, calm him down.
He can walk away now. That's fine.
Nothing's gonna happen.
I think I was there for an hour because I was coming back with aggression too.
Yeah.
Like,
Frustration, aggression, you know, tension. The point is you're giving that energy when he's already frantic.
right.
We can't change or transform the state of mind of a dog without changing or transforming the state of mind of the people.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I guess I skipped over to the beginning, but did it show when he was getting real crooked? Yeah, let me put the very beginning.
Apart.
I go to grab the jeans, and it is all-out attack. Full bore. That's the good morning. That's every morning. I can't really go to work naked, but I'm at that point, and I think I would offend quite a few people.
We have a real big issue with disciplining him, as in, anytime I say no or get in your house,
Yeah.
it's growl and attack. Lay down. And I'm laying him down to the bite thing, and I'm there for an hour, and he won't stop growling.
Yeah.
I'll watch TV while I do it because he won't stop growling.
Yeah, you're a dumb bitch.
I mean, I'm there 30 minutes. Eventually, I just turn. I mean, how long are you supposed to sit there?
Cooking and just
It's because you don't mean it. That's
like
what
a
it is.
DJ.
And it's like every time.
You don't mean it. Sorry, you don't mean it.
Every time.
No, if you don't mean it, it's not gonna happen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
You can't just sit there and hold the fucking dog's neck for an hour, you dumbass. Is the dog smarter than you?
But Caesar does it, and
She's a
it's because-
fucking idiot.
It's crazy though. He did it right
Yeah.
away, and the dog submitted. It's interesting how it's all about your energy.
It's about your
and-
mind.
It's interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I should have let this play out, but I thought there was more fluff in the beginning, so I skipped ahead. And anyway, it was still good content to watch. It's interesting how the mind and how your energy can affect so much.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
That's interesting. That doesn't really relate to anything else. I just thought that was something we could react
Yeah.
to. So this is another kind of thing that doesn't really relate to anything. It was just a funny video. I thought I'd get Duncan's reaction to. Let me reload it so we can get the volume.
Me, this is my dad.
Yes, cheat on me too, yeah.
Cheat on me, this is my dad.
Yes, cheat on me too, yeah.
Cheat on me, this is my dad.
Yes, cheat on me too.
Cheat
yeah.
on me.
Cheat on me,
Oh man,
He's a fucking retard, right?
he wasn't threatening anybody, right? He wanted a little action. Oh, this is just something I saw a few weeks ago, and I meant to throw in a video, but I thought I'd get your reaction. We could talk about it a little bit. This is just kind of a Boston Dynamics, which I guess is a big company with robotics, but it just goes to show the advancement of technology, and especially with this robotics company, how technology is exponential growth. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, the internet, this is just a thing with robotics where it started off kind of slow, but now the advancements are getting really crazy. So we'll just kind of watch the video and then see if we have anything else to say. It's weird because at first it was just a little thing hopping around a circle
Yeah.
on a cord, and then it started.
And now by
growing,
2011, it's like a full thing running
and it's
in
gonna
place,
get more,
and
yeah.
doing more shit. The robot's out here doing more than most people.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at in 2016, it's like lifting up boxes, and then
I
in
know.
2017, it's like
It's
jumping.
jumping over shit. Doing backflips. Look, 2020, it's basically a
I know before long they're gonna have a robot that could just shoot threes like Steph Curry and make it every time. It's like just gonna
Yeah.
take away what it means to be a human and shit.
Yeah.
Like crazy, bro. Like, what's skill to us is nothing to a robot.
No. Look at in 2021 what it's doing. It's literally doing the fucking what you call it?
Gymnastics.
No, the
Look at 2024. It's transforming like Iron Man in the fucking movies. That was wild.
what the fuck?
Bro, do you like that advancement? I might put the link in the video description. That way I can go check it
real
out.
Weird for sure.
Yeah. Because the video's a little
It was
small.
fucking like 360, 180 twisting around with its head doing 360s and shit.
Yeah. They're getting, the advancements are getting faster and faster every year.
And then, but I'm talking about in the one before that, do you know that show where you had to like make it past and if you fell in the water, you were eliminated? It was like a
I think so.
like a skills test,
Oh,
like a
yeah, like-
exercise.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a bunch of different shows
Wipeout.
like that.
Remember
Yeah.
Wipeout?
Yeah.
and it was like these crazy athletes would compete, and they had all these like crazy different exercises you would have to do, and most people they had the robot literally competing in that in like what 2019.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like doing shit that humans were practicing years to do, and then in
Yeah.
2024 it's like reversing its body and
Yeah.
crazy.
These are just a couple highlights of the NBA over the past week. Wemby getting a good block.
God, how tall is he?
6'4". I mean 7'4", excuse me.
7'4".
What is it? It's I was gonna say this because it was kind of crazy for me whenever I was coming up, always watching the NBA players as a young kid, and then it's crazy when you get to the same age as the ones, like you're probably the same age as Wemby, and he's in the NBA.
Yeah, Wemby's what, 22, 21? Yeah, that's crazy. And he's 7'4" in the NBA.
It's crazy.
He's a
Right?
grown ass man. Yeah. What is he, a power forward or a center?
I don't know. I guess
Like what even
both.
is he? He's out here shooting threes.
Oh wow.
Oh my god. That's actually pretty. For those of you who don't watch basketball, that's actually crazy.
Yeah.
He fucking like crossed the dude over a spin move and then slam dunk on two people.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully, they'll have a good season this year. And then this is LaMelo.
He's a beast, right?
Yeah. Oh, he didn't make it.
Oh,
It was still a good
that would have
move.
been crazy, right?
Yeah, I thought he did make it when I saved this video, but that was still a sweet move with
Oh, it was sweet.
the pro hop or whatever. But anyway, yeah,
And he's one of the ones that like
he has
defined
nice
that
handles.
move where you
Flashing
fucking
in.
you bring the ball,
Pick
like,
it up.
yeah.
This is pretty breaking news. Young Thug was released. We're filming this on Friday. He was released Thursday night on basically Halloween, I believe. So, I'll probably have more to say to this coming up, but I just thought it was interesting that he just got released. I heard he's gonna have to be on 15 years of probation, and there's strong stipulations on it. So,
And I already saw, wasn't it? He was already trying to make music with Gunna again.
yeah, part of his plea deal is that he can make music with Gunna. So, what do you think about that?
I think that's actually kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't want to see them now. That just makes me hate them.
really.
Yeah, I don't like Gunna. Everything was fuck Gunna while he was in jail, and now he wants to get out and hug and kiss with him again.
I mean,
It's like he had multiple-
Gunna was like saying "fuck him," and then it's all just stupid. Do you really believe in any of it? To
At
be
the end of
honest,
the day, if
I mean,
you're
they were locked up, supposedly going to go to jail, and now we're both released. It's
I just
like they're
don't like
both
Gunna's
too rich.
personality either.
It's like they're both rich, bro. They
I don't-
never were going to go to
yeah.
jail.
I don't like
They
Gunna's
fucking fooled us all
personality.
along.
Yeah,
But
maybe
I like
they
their
did.
music, so who cares?
Young Thug interested in making music with Gunna again.
It's a fucking story,
Yeah,
in my opinion. Yeah,
for sure.
it's like they were making music before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, did they ever get convicted of anything? Did they ever have to? They didn't have to serve time. I think Young Thug is on probation, but he's still free. From what I gathered,
What? Who?
that Young Thug is free, but he's on probation for 15 years.
Yeah.
So, wait,
He's
15
prohibited
years
from a what?
15 years of probation. He successfully completes his probation without any infractions. An additional 20 years will be commuted to time served.
He is prohibited from associating with gang members, victim, or other defendants in the case, except for his brother and Gunna. He is also banned from promoting gang-related activities and is not allowed to use gang signs or language. How is he going to make any kind of good music?
I don't know.
He can't do any of that in his music.
But why is he already talking about collabing with Gunna then?
Because they're a couple of fucking retards. I don't know. I'm not fucking with them now.
With either one?
Nah. Here's this kind of.
They're all the whole music industry's in it though. So who are you fucking with?
Not many of them. I'm starting to get with like more and more local stuff.
Yeah, I fuck with that, but I'm talking about as far as not local to you. They're all part of it. So it's like,
yeah.
What is your take on that? I mean,
you have to, once you find out who, like, it's still innocent until proven guilty. And now when you see some shit like this where they are just going back and forth and lame shit, I'm not fucking with it. So
they're all part of the same lame shit agenda though. So it's like,
but not at first. It gets to that point.
But it always gets there.
No, not necessarily. That's why certain people only get so big.
That's true. Yeah.
Don't forget to vote Tuesday. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but make sure you get out and vote. But if you don't know what's going on, do not vote.
You're a fucking pussy.
Right? I don't want people voting and they don't know what's going on because I have to suffer the price of that.
Go out and vote. I don't care who you vote for. Just go vote.
I'm not telling you who to vote for.
So why does it matter if you don't care?
But if you don't know what's going on, do not vote.
If he really thought that it mattered, he would care exactly who you're voting for. What?
That is so crooked, right?
Yeah.
Americans are very contradictory creatures. We admire the founding fathers with an almost cult-like devotion, and yet huge numbers of us don't participate in the representative democracy they pioneered. We have one of the lowest voter turnout rates in the developed world, ranking 26th out of 32 countries. If Didn't Vote had been a candidate in the 2016 election, it would have won by a landslide. In fact, Didn't Vote would have won every single presidential election in the last 100 years. In 2016, only about 56% of eligible voters cast a ballot. So what happened to the more than 100 million people who didn't vote? Recent surveys and studies show that among many factors, there are three major reasons.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Vote.
Yeah.
Reason number one, they believe voting doesn't make a difference. Among non-voters, especially young ones, this is the number one reason for staying home on election day. According to recent surveys, roughly 2/3 of non-voters say they don't pay much attention to politics because it is so corrupt.
There you go.
Only 22% of voters believe the two-party system does a good job.
I just thought that was super
22% of people believe the two-party system? Yeah. That can't be true. I feel like most people you see believe in the system.
They end up caving in, but they don't they
don't truly believe in it by heart.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, deep down, they don't believe in it, but they just cave.
Like our mom probably, if you talk to her, be like, no, I think that there could be better than a two-party, but she's like, but that's what we have, and like she doesn't think that that's the best option. That's what that's pretty much saying. You know what I mean? But I thought it was interesting. It said in the beginning, if all the people that didn't vote all voted for one person, that person would win.
Yeah.
Because 55 to 56% of people vote on average, but they're voting for two different people, so that gets split up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super interesting. And I think I've covered this in another, or I've at least said that in another stream or podcast, but I wanted to pair it up with this video, and we're going to talk about some voting stuff as well, so I thought I'd play this.
Of representing the will of the American people. This becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. People refuse to participate, which reduces their representation in government, which adds to their sense that they are not being represented.
How many people do you think voted this election, though? Let's be honest. Because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm seeing, like, let's see, what was the last election? 2020? I feel like a lot of people voted, but this election, like, everybody my age obviously can vote, and then people that are like,
but there's more young people now that are of age that can vote.
That's what I'm saying. There's like pretty much everybody is voting as far as I can see in this election.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's more like a big percentage of the population is voting.
Yeah. This is a thing that said that there's like a lot of conspiracy theories that were put in the intro of Black Ops 1. Secret societies,
Illuminati.
water fluoridation, false
What
flag,
the fuck?
chemtrails.
Forest societies, the Illuminati, 1001 Club, Bilber Club, Bohemian Grove. That's real crooked, isn't it?
Yeah. Numbers, Mason. What do they mean? It's crooked.
Real crooked.
The Gulf of Tonkin and Vietnam.
It's all crooked, right? Wake up!
Yeah, they're showing you.
Look at that eye right there when you paused it.
Yeah. It's interesting. They put things out in the open.
Oh, they do.
I had a live stream the other day where I broke down the Trump and Joe Rogan thing and went over the most noteworthy moments. And I showed a few to Duncan earlier. I should have saved them for right now. But I'm going to see if there was one or two that are worth reacting to that I didn't play. And then I might hit up some of the other ones too just to get his reaction again.
Amazing. We get to the White House, and now it's a little bit before dark. Beautiful. Funny, nobody largely on.
Joe had asked him, just some context to this, Joe had asked him what it was like when he first got elected.
And I'm standing.
And I don't think Joe was meaning like the first night. He was just meaning
hallway. It's funny. Nobody ever talks about the White House as being beautiful inside. You think it's going to be, everything's going to be all metal doors and stuff. It's not. It's so beautiful. I made my money largely on luxury.
Tremendous.
Trump made his money on luxury. All you people that are blue collar workers and conservatives and don't fuck with luxury,
He's just
and people
bragging.
that are like that, think about who you're supporting. This man has made his life off luxury. You can tell by
He's
the
just
way he talks
bragging.
that yeah, but think about people that fuck with him that are like humble people that make a modest living.
But they want that. But most people that fuck with them, even if they're not rich and have exactly what they want, that's what they really want to be like that.
Do they really?
Not
Think about the
conceited,
people
but
in our
just successful.
but think
'Cause
about the
they're
people-
thinking of him just, oh, Trump's just success. You see what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah, it's like
That's
luxury.
why-
I don't know.
But they don't really. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
He's had a silver spoon in his mouth. But anyway, that's beside the point. But made his money off of luxury.
The hallway is like 25.
I will say he brags a lot, right?
Yeah.
And survival. Because from the moment I won, before I got to office, all of a sudden, they came down. Nobody has ever been treated that way.
Now, he's actually right about this. I can't remember in my lifetime there being a president that got in, and as soon as he got in, they were trying to get his ass out, and they were talking shit about him, and they hated him. Now, like I was saying earlier, I feel like it was like a reverse psychology thing where they're hating him so much, and it's the obvious that like the media is so fucked if you pay attention at all that like people with a certain amount of reason are gonna say, well, these people are so fucked if they hate this guy and he's doing like a few good things, like, oh man, him all the way. It just like
I think that's why a lot of people like him too, because people think that.
But just because
I feel like people think that he really is on our side because he's getting all the hate. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. But that's a hard, like, just because someone is automatically, like I was saying there, just because someone is the enemy of your enemy doesn't mean they're your friend.
Yeah.
Because someone is so fucked and they have an enemy doesn't mean their enemy is a savior. So I feel like I could come up with a better example to
Well-spoken LOG.
And you see that. You see where in the Washington Post very early on they said, well, now the impeachment stuff starts. And it did. It literally started from the beginning.
And if you are someone that's like a more of a conspiracy theorist and a truther and you believe in like the deep state or someone controlling stuff behind the scenes, what do you think they're doing? Because like the left people are already fucking up normal politics. So what what operations of the mind and other deep stuff that I can't even think of that they're thinking of, what do you think the deep state's really motherfucking doing? Do you think it's beyond the deep state to come up with someone like Trump? Like I said, it's obvious what the left is doing. The deep state, it doesn't take the deep state to do that. Like, what are they really doing that's really, like...
And the thing is, the reason you can't fully believe in Trump is because he did create, like, SpaceX, and that's just another something that I don't believe... Or Space Force, sorry. Yeah. But he is also a donor to SpaceX.
Well, yeah, him and Elon are hooked up.
So they're fucking in the bed with each other, too. But yeah. It's like, that's another reason I don't believe in space. So it's like, that's one other reason. So it's like, if he really, really was a true patriot, really on our side, I feel like he would bring up more about like God and more about like space isn't real, but he's never going to go into any of that. No. And he did also come out with the vaccine.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But in terms of major ones, you probably have like 100, but they're big ones. Treasury, state, military.
And how did you know who to appoint?
Well, I didn't. I had no experience. You have to understand, Joe.
So
I was there
You have to understand, Joe. You have to understand, Joe.
17 times in Washington. And
so he say he didn't know who to appoint. And I think here in a minute he's going to say, I did the best that I could. And then I had to fire people if they weren't good or whatever. But I made judgment calls based off of the little I did know, based off who I kind of like their policies, off the little I did know. So...
That's valid.
He's admitting he's having to appoint people that he doesn't know if they're going to do a good or bad job, and he's relying on them to do a job. There's thousands of people in government all doing stuff. People think the president, I think, has more power than he really has.
He's basically saying, I was put in this position. The system's fucked. I know the system's fucked, but I'm already in the situation, and I'm just gonna have to go ahead and make the deal.
How much difference can you really make, though? And that's what I'm about to say. Yeah, that's like saying LeBron James is playing the game fair and square, but everybody else, all his teammates, everybody else in the league, and the refs are all trying to rig it. Is he gonna be able to fucking win?
No.
That's what you're saying about Trump.
Yeah.
Everybody else is fucking crooked, but not him, and he's gonna make it different.
I'm not necessarily saying.
No, but you see, that's the argument that people that believe think about that.
Yeah.
It's like
what? Yeah.
They want you to believe ridiculous things, and when you give it good examples, then it's like, wait a minute.
Like, what do you think about? Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think about Curry?
Curry?
Yeah, like Steph Curry in the NBA.
What do you mean?
He's a like really religious basketball player.
I don't know.
But the NBA is also like, I feel like the NBA is really like Illuminati, like.
Yeah, I don't know. There's levels.
I mean, there's levels to it. That's what I'm saying. So, what level is Trump on?
A higher level than them.
Because, like, have you ever seen LeBron James talk about, like, Jesus or, like, God or, like, anything like that? But you've seen Trump do that.
So but I've also seen people that are way crookeder than either of those two talk about God and Jesus a lot. Like Joel Osteen, like, he's crooked, and he talks about God and Jesus all the time.
But in what way?
He's a preacher. Look into Joel Osteen. He's real crooked, dude. Yeah. Like, I wonder if I can find a video on him here in a minute.
I don't know who that is, so I can't really, I don't have nothing to say
But he's, like, his notorious thing is, like, every time they have a flood in Houston, he just doesn't help anybody. He just closes up his church doors and doesn't
Oh, he's like a really rich guy in Houston, right? Yeah.
He's a really rich preacher in Houston.
And,
and then he just never helps anybody.
A little about him, yeah.
It's like when rappers like Trey and other people are coming out to help people during the floods and you're just nowhere to be seen. It's like, people start to question. That's a big criticism I've seen of his.
Like, do you think Trump is as crooked as?
He's as crooked as they get.
You think?
Yeah.
He's just.
We're gonna see some other lies right here. Yeah, we're gonna see some other lies in this video right here. But even if he was good and all the rest of them were evil, he would only be doing. It'd be like the LeBron example or Jordan. What if Jordan was trying to win and everybody else was cheating? He'd be fucked. It doesn't matter how good you are.
He's probably fucked though. Like if he can't do anything. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
And then if you know that, why get in there?
But he's probably been, I don't know. He's been famous his whole life though.
I know. He's always been part of it. He's about to tell on himself here. Mister, I've never been in politics. Here we go.
politics, but used to be appointing top people. So
What did you think it was going to be like? Versus, like, did you have any ideas of what it was going to be like, and what was different?
Oh
well,
yeah.
I was always involved in politics, but usually from the standpoint
Well, wait a minute. Say that again.
of people. So
What did you think it was going to be like? Versus, like, did you have any ideas of what it was going to be like, and what was different?
well, I was always involved in politics, but usually from the
Kablowie. I was always involved in politics.
standpoint.
One more time.
What did you think it was going to be like? Versus, like, did you have any ideas of what it was going to be like, and what was different?
Well, I was always involved in politics, but usually from the standpoint of a donor.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I was always involved in politics, but from the point of view of a donor.
Yeah. So that means you were in politics.
What it was going to be like?
Politics.
Mostly Democrats, right?
Always involved in politics, but usually from the standpoint of a donor. I was a donor. You know, I was a big
Which
donor.
basically means you were either in the politics or you were using your money to manipulate the politics.
Yeah.
Either way, you were getting whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Essentially. You were in with whoever
Yeah.
you needed to be in with. Basically, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in the standpoint of a donor. Like, that's better. It's like,
Yeah. Starts right here, so I'll let it play out.
What I wanted to
and
get
by the way,
to-
no matter what you do, but it's very dangerous to pick somebody outside of a politician because a politician's been basically vetted for years.
Right.
You pick a business guy, and they've never been vetted at all, and they're the head of a big company or something, but they've never been vetted.
If you've been a big business guy in New York and you've been paying politicians for 17 years or however long he said he was, you've been vetted. The IRS
never
knows who
been
the fuck
vetted.
you are.
Never. It's like,
The mayor of New York knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
You are on TV.
yeah.
You have pictures with motherfucking P. Diddy.
Yeah. At
People
parties and shit.
know who you are. It's not like you just came out of
Yeah.
Ohio or Iowa or fucking West Texas or the swamps of Florida. And
You're sitting up there with the mayor of the fucking New York and Trump and all
I mean, he's
of
been
them.
wheeling and dealing in New York.
His name's on the fucking Trump Tower in New York.
Yeah.
Come on.
they don't know who I am. It's like, yeah.
I've never been. It's like,
His uncle or something was in politics too. He's talked about he was.
my father only gave me a small loan of $1 million. It's like,
Nobody knew who you were, right? Come on.
he's the just prince, isn't he? They've always had that little character on him, right? He's basically like the prince of the country almost, right?
Outside of politics is somewhat dangerous.
So you're kind of stuck in a position where you have to pick established people. And then the problem with established people is established people are already indoctrinated into the system.
And they're stiffs in many cases. They're
Stiffs.
If you're a millionaire, are you not already indoctrinated into the system? You don't make $1 million without being indoctrinated. Come on, bro. This is like jokes.
They're survivors. I find that,
What do you mean by stiffs? When you say stiffs?
a stiff, they don't have nothing. They have nothing. Or they're smart and survive. One little thing. So there was a congressman.
They're survivors, ladies and gentlemen.
Pay attention to this story. I was going to leave this part out, but I decided to leave it in because Trump says he respects a guy. And let's watch what he says he respects this loser for.
And I was very close to him. And I needed a license.
And very
on
close to
something,
him.
And he was very important in getting the license. But it was a little bit controversial, the license, this particular thing that was being licensed.
Oh, wait. Trump had someone close to him in politics that was going to get a controversial license passed for him? No, none of that kind of stuff ever went on. Trump, you weren't a part of politics, dude. What are you talking about?
But I was close to this guy and helped him and everything else. And I went to him. I said,
I wonder why y'all were close and what you helped him with.
Yeah.
I'd like to have you.
I helped him and everything else.
And he said,
With what?
"Hey, let me take a look at it." I said, "Ooh, that's not too good." But I really hope you're going to help. And anyway, he tapped me.
He's
along
literally
for a
telling
long
y'all,
period of
right?
time, and ultimately,
Basically,
I didn't do
right.
it. And I said, "You are a stiff. You could have done this thing so easy, etc." But it was controversial. He was in Congress for many years, like 28 years. And there's a reason when somebody's there for 28 years, you got to be sort of smart.
Right.
You have
A
all the
survivor.
scandals. And I realized he was a survivor.
And so they never do anything controversial.
He was a survivor.
I'm going to make it.
He was working, hold on. He was working in the government, working in Washington, D.C., probably making well over $100,000 a year. He's going to be rich for the rest of his life. He's never going to have to do any hard work. He probably doesn't do shit, but fucking signs a few papers every year. And he's a survivor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's out here and he's a survivor.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
He talks about him like he's a fucking cancer survivor.
Yeah,
no shit. Survivor. 28 years in Congress. He was fucking the American people.
Well, they never take any chances or speak their opinion. It's outside of the. Yeah.
And yet, I don't disrespect him.
He's not even. He's like.
And yet, I don't disrespect him for
Go
it.
back. Did you hear those? Yes. He was just.
I
Joe Rogan was like, and he was surviving, and he was surviving, and Trump was just
Are
like,
you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. It's like he knew he was doing crooked shit.
And that guy. Fuck y'all. Trump respected this fucker more because he.
Go back.
I'm gonna.
For
It's
20
gonna go
years.
back. Took our money and did nothing. And just was a bump on a log while everything wrong was going on with our country. And then occasionally, I bet he did do stuff for Trump. This is just the one time that he didn't. What about all the times he did do shit?
Yeah. What about all the times he pulled through for Trump?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like, dude, this story is just.
Yeah.
Or do anything controversial.
Dude, Trump let it all on the line here, I will say.
It's outside of the.
God damn.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't disrespect him for it.
So
I actually respected the guy more in a way.
Because he did survive.
You know what? He's been there like for 28 years.
It's all about longevity, just like LeBron. That's crazy, right?
That's wild.
It's like, dude, this is fun.
Well,
And
it is.
two, I think Joe Rogan's reactions to this is really funny. Trump will be kind
How to deal
of
with
saying
that.
some weird shit, and Joe Rogan will be like, yeah. It's like Joe Rogan is a little bit into with it too.
Sometimes, yeah. On certain answers.
Country, when they saw this whack job standing behind me, they said, oh, man, Trump's going to go to war with us. He was with Bush when they went stupidly into the Middle East. They should have never done it. I used to say it as a civilian. So I always got more publicity than other people. And it wasn't like I was trying. In fact, I don't know exactly why. Maybe you can tell me why.
Oh, I could definitely tell you.
Pause it.
He said a lot of wild shit.
Trump right now is being the biggest fucking he's bragging so much because he's acting like, I don't know how I got so much publicity. I don't know how so many people like me. I don't know how I got so big so fast. Can you tell me why, Joe Rogan? He's basically saying, my cock is so big and I don't even know how it's so big. Why are y'all stroking me off? Tell me why you're stroking me off.
He loves to love himself.
Yeah. Stroke me off, Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Look at Joe.
Shit.
Maybe.
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 Look at that
He
face.
said a lot of wild shit, and then CNN, in all their brilliance, by highlighting your wild shit, made you much more popular.
Yeah.
And
It's like they work
boosted you in the
together.
polls 'cause people were tired.
They're literally
of
riding each other's
someone
cock right now.
Talking in.
They love each other. Look at
He
them.
would say wild shit, and CNN would talk about it all
Hold on, pause
fucking
it.
day.
And ladies, like, if y'all are watching this interview, Trump is literally acting like right now on a fucking podcast that he doesn't know why he's that famous. It's like, buddy, you know.
He's loving it, right? He's loving on himself.
Yeah.
Let's skip ahead.
I will say Trump does play the victim a little bit. You know what I mean? He plays the victim. It's like he's acting like he's dumber than he really is. I don't know why. He just wants everybody to love him, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. This next one is a funny clip where Trump talks about kind of more or less like threatening Putin into like doing what he wanted and preventing the war like he always talks about, but it's a funny clip and he uses like a funny voice, so this will be a good clip.
President.
How would you have stopped it?
Automatic, two things. I told him. I said, Vladimir, you're not going in.
Vladimir. That voice was
He
good.
thinks he's fucking Batman or something.
Yeah.
Vladimir, you're not going in. It's like, bro, what?
Oh man.
He thought he was just coming to Hong Kong, man.
Yeah, he thought he was Batman.
Go,
Vladimir.
God.
President.
How would you have stopped it?
Automatic, two things. I told him. I said, Vladimir, you're not going in. I used to talk to
Vladimir, you're not going in.
I said, Vladimir, you're not going in. But you know why else he wouldn't have gone in? Oil prices at $40 a barrel wouldn't have allowed him, wouldn't have given him the money to prosecute that war.
I'm not saying everything ahead about 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
With North Korea, we were really, it was a little tough at the beginning, remember?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I have a red button on my desk. I said, I have a red button also, but mine's bigger than yours and mine works.
I liked how you called him Little Rocket Man.
No way you said that.
I said, Little Rocket Man, you're going to burn in hell. And it was a
You're
rough,
gonna burn in hell.
Yeah.
oh, so rough that people were worried. This is crazy. And then one day,
I told him, Little Rocket Man, you're gonna burn in hell.
Like a fucking joke that's got out of hand. What the fuck is going on?
Little
First
Rocket
of all,
Man,
they're
you're gonna burn
literally
in hell.
they're literally joking about nuclear war.
Yeah.
He said, and first of all, they're joking. They're literally comparing dick sizes. Oh, I have a little red button. I have a big red button. And my big red button is bigger. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they're literally joking about nuclear war. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna press a button and then nuclear war. It's like, and if we could go to World War III, it's like that would probably like that's the end of the world.
That'd be terrible. Yeah. It's funny, but it's crooked. Like you were saying earlier, Trump liking to stroke his ego here. Rogan almost insinuates that Dana White's like one of the main reasons that Trump got on there, and Trump didn't like it because he wants to think I'm just big dog and I got on here because I'm Trump.
Wait, I didn't catch that. Go back
It's
there.
about to be right here.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
bet.
I made a little bit of a sarcastic joke. A man named Dana White, who you love, who I love. I assume you love him.
Love that dude.
I think he's in a class by him.
He's probably the reason why you're here.
Oh my God, they put it.
Trump did not like hearing that.
I don't know, maybe.
He's one of the big ones.
He is the great.
And then Joe like
Hold
reinforcing
on.
the smiles
Hold
at
on,
him.
go
Like
back one
basically
more.
he
I gotta
is the
see it
reason.
again. Hold on. Joe Rogan.
He did not like
A man
that.
named
Joe Rogan
Dana
put the
White,
pressure
who you
on
love,
him.
who I love. I assume you love him.
Love that dude.
I think he's in a class by him.
He's probably the reason why you're here.
Trump did not like hearing that.
I don't know, maybe.
He's one of the big ones.
He is the great.
And then Joe like reinforcing the smiles at him. Like basically he is the reason you're here. And Trump.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, hold on. I want to see Trump's reaction.
He didn't like it.
What did he say? to
Trump
that?
did not like
That's
hearing
kinda
that.
good.
I don't know, maybe.
He's one of the big ones.
He is the great.
And then Joe like
He just kept going.
Yeah.
He is the greatest, and he kept talking about Dana after that. But at first, he looked off. He didn't really like it. We're gonna one more reaction from this, and we might be done with it. One or two more.
Is what
Will you do that to him if to them if you win? You know, it's the presidency has tremendous power. I could have put crooked Hillary.
I
No
respect
shit.
that you didn't because
didn't.
what you said was it would be bad for the country.
what did he just say?
If to them if you win, you know, it's the presidency has tremendous power.
Right here.
I could have put crooked Hillary.
I
in
respected
jail.
that you.
You could have, and you didn't. You're a pussy.
And it's kind of weird.
You're
that Joe
Donald Trump.
respected that.
You act like you have the biggest nuts in the world. You're fucking rich and famous, and you've probably fucked all these women, like whatever. You're in all these pictures.
If
and-
she's that crooked,
but-
shouldn't she be in jail?
but you've said Hillary's crooked, and you've never put her in jail. And
And-
you're Donald Trump, and you literally said that you were going to put her in jail.
Right, that's what it is.
But you didn't put her in jail.
That's what's about to come up. Yeah.
But you didn't.
Didn't because what you said was it would be bad for the country.
No, I can't. I couldn't even imagine.
So he didn't
how-
stand on what he said.
First of all, Secretary.
He's gonna take it back. He's gonna say he
the
didn't even
wife
say
of
that.
The President of the United States of America going into jail. And if you ever saw when I'd say something about her, they'd all say, "I didn't say it. I never said it."
I never said it. Okay. And then why
What?
the fuck just didn't?
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Pause it.
And I'm telling you,
So didn't him and Hillary have a debate, and he literally said something,
You should be in
something,
jail.
you'd be in jail?
Yeah.
I know he said that.
Yeah.
Everybody saw that live, and he
They
just said
talked
he
about it in
didn't-
this
he-
interview too. I just didn't go over that.
He
real
literally
quick.
just said, I didn't say that?
Yeah. I know there's another video I'm going to react to that's part of this. I'm going to keep letting it play in where we'll see it again that he.
Everybody knows he said that. Why would he
I
say
kept
that?
it
though?
down. Just the opposite. Now they say,
He's an
"Oh,
idiot.
Trump wanted to put her in jail." No,
What was that, fat boy? Because I think we have a video. Oh, what is this?
Busted.
What is this? Oh, wait. Whoa, man. What is this a video of?
News, where he claimed that he never called for the imprisonment of his 2016 Democratic opponent.
I didn't say it.
Campaign.
Low key. That looked like a fake.
Why the
clone
fuck would
fat
he? He's an
wig
idiot,
Trump.
bro. He's a fucking idiot.
That looked like fake Trump right there. But at least he's saying, obviously, he's saying Hillary needs to go to jail.
Hillary Clinton has to go to jail, okay? She has to go to jail. Has to go. I think Hillary is very weak. I think she's pathetic. I think she should be in jail for what she did with her emails, okay?
For what she's done, they should lock her up. She's disgraceful.
Trump did shift his stance for a time.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's about it from this video. But yeah, he flip-flopped.
That is so crazy that Trump literally just live on podcast.
Yeah. This is an interview with Kamala on Fox that Duncan had seen might be pretty good. So we'll watch a little bit of this and see if there's any good clips from it.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion that people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right now,
just a number. Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
So she didn't even answer the fucking question.
Okay, the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
From you!
So your Homeland Security Secretary.
From you fucking idiot! What the fuck? What are you even talking about?
85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have a
estimate of 6 million people have been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy
Dude, she looks
that
hot.
Illegal immigrants
She's sitting there just
to be
smiling.
detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the Chips and Science Act, before national criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
6 Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear. I think we all are.
What in the fuck?
That it needs to be fixed.
I have no pride.
I was just
It needs to be fixed.
Talking with border agents, and they will tell
You are
me
literally the vice
probably,
president.
I know you investigate and you
That was a sentence from hell. She didn't even say the right thing. She's like, I have no pride in admitting that this has been a perfect border. It's like, what? You should have had, I have no shame in admitting that this has not been a perfect. Whoa, Dad. You just totally got it back.
Not only did she fuck up, but she also...
That was terrible. She made it just sound like it was good in some way. To where if that's like taking in quotes, it would sound real weird. Oh,
a serious journalist, they will tell you we need more judges. We need to process those cases.
That's exactly what this country needs. More judges.
More judges. More crooked judges. That's what we need.
Faster.
Logan.
We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted.
Go out and vote.
They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Congress is the only place that's going to get fixed.
That's the premise of the question. There were 90-plus executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about. But you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of
even
them.
make sense.
It doesn't have any substance.
Nothing she says have substance or makes sense. This is like me if I'm drunk, high as fuck, talking about it my ass.
Yeah. Let's see if this Nick Shirley video has anything good. Shout out to Nick Shirley. Y'all go check him out on YouTube. He has really good stuff, and he's out here amongst the people asking the good questions and really putting in the work. I fuck with him.
The power to attack American citizens.
This guy
And he will. You're going to vote for the end of our country as we know it.
I heard this 8 years ago, 4 years ago. They overthrew democracy when they threw Joe Biden out.
And she supports policies that will aid me specifically as a woman and as a member of the LGBT community.
Who are you going to be voting for?
Well, I just voted. Come to find out.
I'm here in the great
Come
state
to
of
find
Pennsylvania.
out.
This is the most important state in the entire election. Out of all the 7 swing states, Pennsylvania
You should have
holds
said
the
as
most
it turns
electoral
out.
votes at 19. Most likely, whoever wins the state of Pennsylvania will
Fucking
win
dumbass.
the election. Right now in Poly Market, the election is getting closer. As of right now, Donald Trump has a 65% chance of winning on a national level, and he has a 61% chance of winning here in Pennsylvania.
Even though now I think it's about equal as far as the polls
We're
go.
starting off here in Pittsburgh. We'll then be going to
Which is
Lancaster.
crazy
We'll
to
end this
believe
video
that
off
people
in
are actually
Philadelphia.
voting for Kamala as
It's gonna be
much as
extremely
Trump. Because
important
what
to
would
see
you
who
think?
you are going to be voting for, because
If you could
like I said,
honestly,
these people will most likely determine.
but the votes
who
probably
wins
aren't
the
even
election.
honest. They
And
probably
now
just
let's
put the
go
polls
into
at wherever
here
they
in
want,
Pittsburgh
right?
As to who they're going to be voting for. Who are the people of Pittsburgh going to be voting for? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Kamala I'm more on Kamala's side.
I'm also voting for Kamala Harris.
Who are you going to be voting for?
I'm voting for Kamala Harris because I want to see change. I want people to be free. I want people to be equal, and I want women to have the rights for their bodies.
Are you going to be voting for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump or Kamala Harris?
Harris.
Are you going to be voting for Donald Trump or for Kamala Harris?
I'm really not sure, actually. I'm registered to vote. I'm just on the fence. Probably Harris.
So what makes you more leaning towards Kamala Harris at this point?
Well, Trump's criminal now, so, I mean, criminals don't get positions like that, I don't think. But wouldn't be fair.
What if he wins on appeal? Would you regret your vote then? If it comes out that he was innocent?
Probably not.
And who are you going to vote for?
Kamala Harris.
And now what makes you want to vote for Kamala Harris?
I feel like she would do more.
When it's cold out from When it's cold out from, yeah, I got enemies, okay, the when it's cold out from, they try enemies.